Hey guys, you're watching Mia's new pair of glasses, and in today's video, we're going to discuss the lies and deception around cholesterol and why the food pyramid image that we have been sold, that has been drilled into our brains, needs to be turned upside down. It's all complete BS. The American public is now suffering the consequences of this enormous hoax by having their diets unnecessarily modified, and many citizens are now being subjected to unpleasant and dangerous treatments to lower their serum cholesterol levels. We're going to discover and uncover the real reason why this has been happening. So like everything else, we are constantly conditioned with images and videos and people in lab coats telling us what is healthy for us and what is not. But we have been lied to on many, many issues, and the issue of what we should eat and the role that cholesterol plays in our bodies is no different than any other issue. But if you can't get to the point where you can understand that there is a motive and what that motive is behind the deception, you will never be able to accept the fact that you have been deceived. And consequently, you will never be able to get to the real truth. What you must understand about cholesterol is that no cell can be created without cholesterol. Everything that is life must have cholesterol. It's the number one energy source for the body and for cells to build and rebuild. Cholesterol could easily be described as the smoking gun of the last 2 decades. It's been responsible for demonizing entire categories of foods, like eggs and saturated fats, and blamed for just about every case of heart disease in the last 20 years. You are probably aware that there are many myths that portray fats and cholesterol as one of the worst foods you can consume. Please understand that these myths are actually harming your health. Not only is cholesterol most likely not going to destroy your health, as you have been led to believe, but it also is not the cause of heart disease. And for those of you taking cholesterol-lowering drugs, the information that follows could not have been given to you fast enough. But before I delve into this life-changing information, let's get some basics down first. Cholesterol is a soft, waxy substance and is found not only in your bloodstream, but also in every cell in your body, where it helps to produce cell membranes, hormones, vitamin D, and bile acids that help you digest fat. Cholesterol also helps in the formation of your memories and is vital for neurological function. Your liver makes about 75% of your total cholesterol. And there are 2 types of cholesterol according to conventional medicine, HDL and LDL. Now LDL has been demonized, but we're going to go into later in this video whether there is a good and a bad cholesterol. Now, the American Heart Association recommends that your total cholesterol is less than 200 milligrams daily. What they do not tell you is that is absolutely worthless and meaningless as far as your risk of heart disease. And at that level of cholesterol, you cannot support a healthy human being's body. Dr. Rosdale, who is widely considered to be one of the leading anti-aging doctors in the United States, explains this concept. Notice please that LDL and HDL are lipoproteins, fats combined with proteins. There is only one cholesterol. There is no such thing as good or bad cholesterol. Cholesterol is just cholesterol. It combines with other fats and proteins to be carried through the bloodstream, since fat and our watery blood do not mix very well. Fatty substances, therefore, must be shuttled to and from our tissues and cells using proteins. LDL and HDL are forms of proteins and are far from just cholesterol. In the United States, the idea that cholesterol is evil is very much ingrained in most people's minds, but this is a very harmful myth that needs to be put to rest right now. First and foremost, Dr. Rosdale points out cholesterol is a vital component of every cell membrane on Earth. In other words, there is no life on Earth that can live without cholesterol. That will automatically tell you that in and of itself it cannot be evil. In fact, it is one of your best friends. We would not be here without it. No wonder lowering cholesterol too much increases one's risk of dying. Cholesterol is also a precursor to all of the steroid hormones. You cannot make estrogen, testosterone, cortisone, and a host of other vital hormones without cholesterol. So an agenda is becoming clear. depriving people of their healthy hormone levels, and you will not have people wanting to have sex and reproduce. This is part of the population control agenda. So if you see people, you can tell people that are being deprived from cholesterol because they're not muscular, they're thinner, they're more gaunt, and they're just not healthy looking. Let's talk about the link between cholesterol and inflammation. So first, let's consider the role of inflammation in your body. In many respects, it's a good thing, as it's your body's natural response to invaders it perceives as threats. If you get a cut, for instance, the process of inflammation is what allows you to heal. Your blood becomes thicker so it can clot. Your immune system sends cells and chemicals to fight viruses, bacteria, and other bad guys that could infect the area. Cells multiply and repair the damage. Cholesterol comes in because in order to replace your damaged cells, it is necessary. One thing to remember that's really important is that no cell can form without it. So if you have damaged cells that need to be replaced, your liver will be notified to make more cholesterol and release it into your bloodstream. This is a deliberate process that takes place in order for your body to produce new healthy cells. Sally Fallon, who is an expert in lipid biochemistry, has gone so far as to call high cholesterol an invented disease. If you have increased levels of cholesterol, it is at least in part because of increased inflammation in your body. The cholesterol is there to do a job, help your body heal and repair. Now let's talk about cholesterol, the brain, and hidden motives behind depriving people of cholesterol. Without enough cholesterol, all kinds of nasty things can happen to your body. Remember, every single one of your cells needs cholesterol to thrive, including those in your brain. Perhaps this is why very low cholesterol wreaks havoc on your psyche. One large study conducted by Dutch researchers found that men with chronically low cholesterol levels showed a consistently higher risk of having depressive symptoms. This may be because cholesterol affects the metabolism of serotonin, a substance involved in the regulation of your mood. Canadian researchers found that those in the lowest quarter of total cholesterol concentration had more than 6 times likely the risk of committing suicide. Dozens of studies also support a connection between low or lowered cholesterol levels and violent behavior. Through the same pathway, lowered cholesterol levels may lead to lowered brain serotonin activity, which may in turn lead to increased violence and aggression. That supports the prison industry. They want people to not feel well so that they either enter the prison system or they support the pharmaceutical companies. With lowered serotonin levels, you have people in more need of antidepressant medication. And studies have also shown that people who take statin drugs to lower their cholesterol also have a higher risk of cancer and Parkinson's. So let's look at why is this happening? What's the root of it? Well, we pointed out a couple reasons already, and when we get down to it, the root of it is it's all about the money. To get to the ridiculously low levels that they recommend, you need to take multiple cholesterol leveling medications. Now, these people that recommend this, these doctors on these panels of these studies, were tied to and financially benefited from the drug-making companies themselves. Surprise, surprise. So another route is the propaganda started with the processed food industry, specifically the seed oil industry. The billions of dollars spent towards this goal was enough to sway the minds of millions of Americans. And then we have the statins, which are the lipid-lowering medications by the drug company. And this was the source of the shift of the food pyramid and the cholesterol recommendations. And that's when cholesterol was demonized. Ancel Keys was one of the most prominent nutritional researchers of the mid-20th century. He gained enormous professional and influential prominence, and his views were widely adopted by professional and public health organizations. His research formed the foundation for all the low-fat recommendations that followed. Surprise, surprise, Keys, who was largely funded by the sugar industry, is believed to have been responsible for suppressing this damning study where it showed that cholesterol was not responsible for the health problems that it claims. And his studies didn't even support his original hypothesis. But only parts of the trial results were ever published, leaving out the controversial findings that replacing saturated fats with vegetable oil had no benefit whatsoever on mortality. And remember, if you reference back to my video I did on sugar a while back, and you will see the power and influence that the sugar industry has had over the system. And also I did a video on grounding and how our body is electrical and we are electrical beings. So nutrition and biochemistry are clearly important to your health, but so is your body's electrical system. All of our membranes are made of fats that are insulators and connected through a conductor. This arrangement sets up a biological capacitor to store electrons, but only if the fats are healthy. If you consume damaged fats, or worse, heated and hydrogenated oils, I'm speaking of vegetable oil and seed oil, the fatty acids in the cell membrane essentially become non-functional and unable to store body voltage, thus increasing the risk of disease. This is one of the many reasons why it is so important to eat healthy fats. Ramsden of the National Institutes of Health unearthed raw data from a 40-year-old study which challenges the dogma that eating vegetable fats instead of animal fats is good for the heart. The study, the largest gold standard experiment testing that idea, found the exact opposite. Replacing real healthy cholesterol with vegetable oil is your brain's worst enemy and has been found to cause any kind of neurological disease in children, including autism. Also disrupts the regulation of blood flow through the arteries in your brain and depletes your brain of antioxidants. It turns your immune system against you by affecting your white blood cells. Vegetable oils cause an overload of oxidative reactions inside the cell, leading to the accumulation of intracellular trash. When this affects our white matter, we lose our mobility. When it affects our gray matter, we lose our personalities and our connections to the world. Are you starting to see the picture about why this agenda is happening? We are told that cholesterol is a major cause of heart disease. At least 40 million people are currently taking cholesterol-lowering medication known as statins, and millions more people are avoiding foods that contain saturated fats and cholesterol. Cholesterol lowering has become a huge global industry, generating at least $29 billion each year. So the culprits that are responsible for this are the medical industry, the vegetable and seed oil industry, the sugar industry, and the pharmaceutical companies. They're all in cahoots to deceive you about what your body needs for proper nutrition so that they can profit off of you. So what we need to do is look to the wild. Wild animals always eat the parts of the body that have the most fat and the most nutrients. And that is what human beings need to do. So I'm sorry if this information is upsetting to some of you based on your current diets, but if you are having an emotional reaction to factual information, then that is a cue that you have been subjected to conditioning and brainwashing by the people that do not have your best interests at heart. So the last thing I want to say is I've taken a little break. My videos have slowed down a little bit, because honestly, this type of work has really taken a toll on me, and I often consider if I'm going to continue. So if you find that my information is helpful at all, if you find that this improves or helps your life in any way, please donate to my channel by using my PayPal address, finallypresent@yahoo.com. And just remember all the things that you do spend money on, your cable bill, your cell phone, to constantly be bombarded with lies and deceptions. And it's finally time that people made a choice to start supporting independent thinkers and people that want to help you and help the world, and support those people instead. So thanks guys for listening. Everybody stay safe out there, be good to one another, and as always, God bless.